Welcome to Community Updates. I'm Victoria Straight.
And I'm Emmanuel Ortiz.
On Monday, July 26th, from 1 to 4 p.m., you can drop into the Conant Public Library for their Masterpiece Monday. They'll be creating paintings on beach rocks. No registration is required, and the event is open to children of all ages. If you have any questions, please call Conant Public Library at 978-422-6409. The North Central Massachusetts Private Well Program is offering complimentary well water testing in July and August for Sterling residents. However, there are only 40 slots available. If you have a well and would like to have your well water tested for contaminants, you can find the link to RCAP Solutions on the town website, sterling-ma.gov.
On Thursday, July 29th at 1 p.m., the Rosemary Davis Nature Series will be sponsoring the Wingmasters event at Thayer Memorial Library. Julianne Collier and Jim Parks, Massachusetts-based licensed raptor rehabilitators, will bring their birds to the library and give an educational presentation on North American birds of prey. The event is designed for ages 6 and older. Please call Thayer Memorial Library with questions at 978-368-8928. Registration for Week Community Connections Tools for School Backpack and School Supply Program is open until Friday, August 6. You will need to show proof that your child will be in school this fall. You can register for this program by calling 508-470-3946 during case management hours, which can be found on the Week Community Connections Facebook page.
And now let's head over to Lex Thomas, who is talking with Joe O'Connor about the Parkinson support group at the Sterling Senior Center.
I'm here today with Joe O'Connor, and he is the founder of a Parkinson's support group that meets regularly at the Sterling Senior Center. Of course, obviously over the last year, these meetings have been done via Zoom, but they're going to resume in person, and as well as being a hybrid so that people can also join by Zoom. Joe, thank you so much for joining me. Lovely to see you.
Thank you very much, Lex. Lovely to see you too.
Now, tell me a little bit about the Parkinson's group. What prompted you to start this, and how does it work?
Well, the Parkinson's group was started to answer the question of having a Parkinson's group local to this area. We have been in cooperation with the Sterling Senior Center, who has been absolutely wonderful to do business with. Veronica's been really terrific. Helped us out a lot, and so we were the first. Disease support group out of the senior center, and we just try to basically keep each other going, keep each other aware of what's going on. We occasionally have presentations from pharmaceuticals talking about new treatments that might be available to us. And we just try to basically buoy each other up. We usually have somewhere around, well, before the pandemic, we were having somewhere around 20, 30 people at a meeting. And we'd love to see that, come back. We realize, of course, that, people's lives have changed, and we'll have to see what comes of that.
Now, when you say you have 20 to 30 people, that's a significant number of people. Where are these folks coming from? Not just from Sterling and Lancaster, correct?
That is absolutely correct. Thank you, Lex. They are coming from pretty much all of the area of what we would call Northern Worcester County. We have members from Athol, Gardner, Westminster, Fitchburg, Leominster, and oddly enough, Sterling and Lancaster, West Boylston. We also have a few members from south of Worcester that just simply call in. So we have members from all around the area, and actually we've had a couple of members that were in for a few meetings that were from Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
That's the beauty of Zoom.
That really is. Yeah. Your reach can expand, but also I think for our viewers, it's important to know that you covered such a great area because, even if you're not a Parkinson's patient yourself, but if you know somebody or if you know a caregiver. So who can come to these meetings? It's presumably people that have Parkinson's, but also carers and family members as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that is very, That is exactly what we're trying to do. We want the care partners to feel as comfortable as their partners. To that end, yes, we welcome all the care partners to the meeting. My wife, who is, of course, my care partner, is always at the meetings. And we just, try to create an environment for them. Sometimes they need to talk. Sometimes other people need to talk. We don't have any rules about what can and cannot be talked about. Parkinson's is a very complex disease. It affects people all different ways. So it's not uncommon for somebody to say, I've got this problem. And somebody says, well, I've got this thought for how you might be able to deal with this problem. Of course, we're always, saying to people, you need to check with your doctor. But at the same time, we're also saying you need to advocate for yourself. A lot of us, myself included, pride ourselves on the fact that we fired a couple of doctors that weren't satisfactory. And so we encourage people to, if, for example, we have somebody who comes in and the doctor is saying, I want to switch your meds every week or something like that, we go back to your doctor and see what they say. They're not the only neurologist in the building, shall we say.
You've touched on so many important points here. And one of my questions to you was going to be, what is the benefit of a group like this? But, you've really covered that so beautifully, but just speak a little bit more to that. Why is this important for people? And also the question of advocacy, so important in any medical context. Just speak to those things a bit.
I'd be glad to do that. Thank you, Lex. What we're doing with each other has been measured by the Fox Foundation, and it has been measured that people with Parkinson's get more information from their support groups than they do from their doctors, than they do from reading the internet or whatever. And that is really something that's special, because what we're doing is we're providing the information to each other from each other. We all learn from it. I've learned tremendous amounts of stuff from listening to other people talk and listening to what their issues are or things that are working out very good for them. So I mean, that's a big part of it. As far as advocacy, I mean, we pride ourselves on making sure that our doctors understand our needs, that we're not just there as a patient that's going to be there and gone. We're there as somebody who's going to have a long-term partnership with this physician because of the nature of our disease. And also in terms of advocacy, we've also gone both physically and virtually to Capitol Hill in Washington and the State House in Massachusetts to make them aware of us. Really, that's what it comes down to. It's like Congressman McGovern is a very good congressman, and we had a virtual meeting with him at the height of the pandemic where we talked about, what we felt were our needs, what we needed him to understand about what was going on, and also just to build a connection so that he knows that there is a group, actually a number of groups in his jurisdiction, and that we're out there and that we're people with have a goal, which is to see Parkinson's either eradicated or the symptoms reduced, or as I'm wearing my Davis Phinney ambassador shirt. Davis Phinney organization, we have a saying, every victory counts. And we count a victory as, yesterday I didn't get any exercise in. Today I walked down my driveway. And more than that, and less than that too. But the idea is we challenge ourselves and try to move ourselves better.
And I think really with those areas of both support and the advocacy, you really are creating a community here also of people who really truly understand, because they're going through, even though, as you say, the disease can take so many different forms, but nonetheless there are similarities, and even just the fact that it takes so many different forms, I think that must be reassuring for people who are able to get together or connect with other people that are dealing with these things, and to realize that you're not in this all alone, because I think sometimes when you're dealing with a health issue, it can be very isolating.
Yes, I mean, one of the reasons that we were still operating during the pandemic, in fact, we were operating on a weekly basis during the pandemic, was because I recognized that the disease could isolate people, and I didn't want to see people have no chance to get away from that isolation. I don't know, isolation,
Right. Yeah.
isolation. But I wanted to give them the opportunity to meet and to just talk about things. And not necessarily, I mean, some of the meetings we had during the pandemic, people were talking about the pandemic.
Yeah.
But it was a chance for people with a very strange commonality to be able to interact with each other. And yes, one of the problems that a lot of people have with Parkinson's is they do isolate themselves. And I want to say, if somebody's watching this and they think, gee, I was isolating myself, don't feel like you need to do that. I mean, you can certainly come to our group. There are other groups out there as well. One of the things I think is unique about our group is like many other groups. There's a split between groups that are run by professionals, which is good, and there are groups that are run by people like myself. I am a person with Parkinson's, so and I find myself in my experience that the groups that are run by people with Parkinson's tend to be more focused on understanding the disease, because we're all living with it and we're all trying to get knowledge from each other about it.
Yes.
Whereas the groups that are run by, professional social workers or something like that, not putting them down, but they tend to be focused on explaining what they can explain, but they don't live the disease.
Right. That's, so important. Let's get down to logistics. How can people get involved with this? And I believe that you're going to start having live meetings again at the end of July. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. We're going to start having live meetings every other Wednesday starting July 28th. We've always met from 3:30 to 5 on Wednesday. We're going to continue that, but it's going to be every other Wednesday as opposed to every third Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
So we're going to meet every other week. If you want to get in, we want to come to it, and you don't have any questions, great. Just come on down to the Senior Center. If you have never been to the Sterling Senior Center before, it's a beautiful place.
Sure is.
You're going to need to give yourself a little bit of extra time to register at the front desk. So I would say come around 3-ish if it's the first time. If you got questions about it, feel free to email me. My email address is north, WORC, Parkies, PARKIES, @yahoo.com. Or if you're not into computers, completely understand that. You can reach me on my cell at 508-335-0672. But the preferred method of doing it is via email, because that way I can add you to the distribution list and you'll get notices about all the upcoming meetings and what we're doing at the meeting and who's going to be speaking to us, or if nobody's going to be speaking to us.
Very good. All right, so lots of information there for folks to latch onto. The Parkinson's group is resuming in person as well as by Zoom, so it'll be a hybrid on Wednesday, July 28th. 3:30 to 5, and the group will meet every other Wednesday, so every second Wednesday. Lots of great information here, and I'd like to have you back again closer to when this all resumes so that we can remind folks.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, Joe, thank you so much for your time, and all the best with the group and with your own health as well.
Thank you very much, Lex. Thank you for your time.
If you're a fan of reading plays and enjoying television comedies, then my next feature will catch your attention. On my bookshelf this week is To Complete Fawlty Towers by Monty Python's John Cleese and Connie Booth. Fawlty Towers was a hit BBC comedy series about a horrible hotel manager who always put his foot in his mouth, with a bunch of zany supporting characters. This book is a collection of screenplays used in the show. If you, your friends and family are fans of the show, or maybe like to do reenactments for parties, this book is for you.
Before we head out, we wanted to let you know that there is an avian disease going around that is causing sickness and death in songbirds in the mid-Atlantic and Midwestern states. The Massachusetts Division of Fisheries and Wildlife has asked to prevent this disease from spreading, you empty your bird feeders and bird baths. Instead, to attract songbirds, they suggest that you plant native shrubs and plants that provide food and shelter for songbirds. Well, that's all we have time for.
We'll see you next time on Community Updates.